The moment we enter the house came tremendous flash.
Welcome to WatchMojo, where we'll be looking at 10 times someone ended up in a horrible situation by sheer chance alone.
And it was all taken away.
Richard Jewell. In 1996, the Summer Olympics were held in Atlanta in the United States. It turned into a tragedy as terrorist Eric Rudolph planted a backpack full of explosives in the Olympic grounds. Thankfully, the disaster was mitigated by security guard Richard Jewell, who discovered the bomb and saved many lives from the disaster.
We were just concerned with getting the people as far away as we could, as quickly as we could.
So in one respect, he was at the right place at the right time. Unfortunately, the FBI and the press later began believing he was the culprit.
How do you know that they're FBI?
Because they followed me from my house. They follow me everywhere I go.
This destroyed his reputation for a few years, until Eric Rudolph was found guilty. Clint Eastwood made a movie about his life in 2019. So on the bright side, his reputation has been repaired since, and he's predominantly considered a hero.
Sir, I've never been treated like a hero. Never. I don't know what a hero's treated like.
Austin Hatch. Few things in life will be more traumatic than surviving a plane crash. So surviving two would likely take a huge toll on someone's mind.
What he's gone through so far is miraculous. He said to me, Coach, the way I look at it, I've been so blessed through life. I've only had 2 really bad days in my life.
This is what happened to Austin Hatch in the 2000s. In 2003, he was only 8 years old when a plane his father was piloting crashed in Indiana. His mother and 2 siblings tragically didn't survive, but Austin and his dad did.
He would just hug me and tell me how much he loved me and how thankful he was to still have me.
In 2011, it happened again. A plane that his father was piloting stalled, crashed, and Austin lost both his dad and his stepmother. Miraculously, Austin survived after being put into a coma for 2 months.
What was it like to realize that you lost your dad and your mom?
Yeah, it's hard to put that into words.
It would have been hell to overcome, but he now has a wife and child, so things are finally looking up for him.
What do you think your parents would be proudest of?
I'm sure they'd be proud of me just being here, but I think they would probably be more proud of my outlook on life. They're still with me every day, still having a profound impact on the man I am and hope to become.
The Desarmes family. The 2010 Haiti earthquake was one of the most devastating natural disasters for the island.
Vieille journée qui était capable d'exister depuis le monde.
The Desarmes family was caught in the disaster. 2 weeks later, they decided to seek refuge in Chile. Tragically, a month into their stay, Chile was also hit by a brutal earthquake.
We're asking everybody to stay calm, to stay patient, she said.
The family said it was extremely horrifying to live through both. Every member of the family lived to tell the tale, but it undoubtedly wreaked havoc upon their mental health. If they'd known the dangers of moving to Chile, they said they would have remained in Haiti. Iva Tagori d'Aquino. The early 1940s were probably the worst time in history for an American to visit Japan, or vice versa. In 1942, American citizen Iva Tagori d'Aquino went on holiday to Japan.
You sound very vaguely familiar to me.
Well, you may have picked up the voice aboard ship.
Her timing proved to be terrible, as Japan declared war on America while she was there, and she couldn't return. Imperial Japan then forced her to become a DJ for an English-speaking propaganda radio broadcast, which earned her the nickname Tokyo Rose.
Now, how long ago did you come back to Japan?
4 years ago.
She heroically put her life on the line to feed American prisoners of war. Tragically, the States weren't so thankful toward her after the war. She ended up getting convicted of treason and served 6 years in prison, but was eventually pardoned in 1977. Emperor Carus. Roman history gets beyond chaotic during the crisis of the 3rd century, which lasted from 235 until 284 AD.
So, I referred last time to the 3rd century crisis, the crisis of the Roman Empire that preceded the accession of Diocletian from 235 to 284.
One of the last emperors during this period was Carus, who ruled from 282 to 283.
Although very few details remain. We do know that he served as a military tribune of the 8th Legion, Augusta, and the 9th Legion, Hispana.
While he was in power, the empire's main rivals were the Sassanids, an empire that dominated Persia and Mesopotamia. Carus led a strong campaign against them in 283, but this failed when Carus died randomly. Some sources claim he was struck by lightning, but this isn't confirmed.
We don't know exactly what happened, But his death by lightning is not out of the realm of possibility.
Generally, scholars think it was not a natural death. His two sons took over the empire, but were overthrown by Diocletian, who ended the crisis and brought stability. Wars on Rome's eastern border would continue for centuries, eventually motivating the Crusades. Jason and Jenny Cairns-Lawrence. This English pair is often called the world's unluckiest couple. This is because they've survived not only one terrorist attack while on holiday, but three. First, they were visiting New York on September 11, 2001.
I have a situation with American London possible hijack.
4 years later, they were caught up in London when the July 7th bombings were perpetrated.
It's just indescribable.
Finally, in 2008, they visited Mumbai at the same time as the horrific attacks.
We will take the strongest possible measures to ensure that there is no repetition of such terrorist acts.
Well, this is what the press wants you to believe. The story is largely false. They arrived in both New York and Mumbai after the attacks had taken place, and were in Binghamton when the London bombings happened. So the wrong place they were in was the bar where they first met a journalist who fabricated the story. Ron Goldman. One of the most infamous murder cases in history surrounded the deaths of Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman.
We will continue our pursuit of Mr. Simpson and hope to have him in custody soon.
Initially, people believed O.J. Simpson was responsible. When he was asked to turn himself in, he instead tried to flee in a highly publicized chase.
One of the young guys, either one of the Goldman families or the Brown family, he said, "Murderer, murderer."
The trial eventually found Simpson innocent, although the verdict was met with much scrutiny. Nicole is believed to have been the primary target, but Goldman was tragically murdered because he caught her at the wrong time.
He was a special human being that didn't deserve what's happened.
He was a waiter trying to return her glasses, but ended up losing his life, likely so the killer could minimize witnesses.
So I love you very much, and I'll see you soon.
William Huskisson. In the 1830s, steam-powered locomotives had just started coming out and were all the rage.
They hissed, they rumbled, and they roared. They belched smoke and spewed clouds of white mist.
In 1830, the Liverpool and Manchester Railway first opened. A grand celebration was hosted for its opening, inviting both the Prime Minister and the Duke of Wellington. One politician, William Huskisson, was a fairly clumsy man.
Huskisson noticed that in the carriage opposite was his great political rival, none other than the Iron Duke, hero of Waterloo, Duke of Wellington.
This meant he was sorrowfully caught between two trains, which caused him to panic so hard that he failed to escape and ended up being run over by a train. It became the first railway fatality widely reported, although there had been a plethora of fatalities prior, but they were barely focused on.
Loss and possession, once wrote Hilaire Belloc. There falls no shadow where never shines the sun.
Franz Ferdinand. World War I was triggered by a chaotic domino effect of European alliances declaring war on each other.
Some damn foolish thing in the Balkans, Bismarck once predicted, would ignite a major war.
The event that started it all was the assassination of the Austro-Hungarian heir and Archduke Franz Ferdinand. 6 Bosnians worked together to eliminate him, and all their plans failed. That was, until his driver took a wrong turn and just coincidentally arrived outside a delicatessen where one assassin was waiting.
At that moment, I was filled with a strange feeling, and I aimed at the Archduke from the pavement.
His name was Gavrilo Princip, and he didn't hesitate to execute both Ferdinand and his wife. This led to Austria-Hungary eventually declaring war on Serbia, with both nations getting all their allies involved, who in turn invited their allies until all of Europe was at war.
In a flash, the whole continent was going to be at war.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into Settings and switch on your notifications. Tsutomu Yamaguchi. Few humans have lived through a single atomic bomb, but few have lived through 2.
Every day, Tsutomu Yamaguchi gives thanks for what he calls his miracle.
His name was Tsutomu Yamaguchi, who was born in 1916 and died in 2010. Yamaguchi was sent to Hiroshima by his employers, which caused him to be caught in the attack.
I thought the sun had fallen from the sky. There was a tremendous sound and a flash of light above me.
After miraculously surviving, he returned to his home in Nagasaki. His boss didn't believe him on the phone when he mentioned the bomb. which was the general attitude in Japan. Many were skeptical that such a powerful weapon existed. Unfortunately, the second bomb dropped while he was in Nagasaki, but thankfully, that one didn't hurt him at all.
So we stood up. We saw the window and the doors and roofs were disappeared. That's tremendous destruction.
Amazingly, he lived to the age of 93, a mind-blowing feat for someone hit by 2 atomic bombs. Were there any particularly tragic moments we failed to mention? Let us know in the comments.
My mother decided to take us to the community center